Well, thank you all for coming out this morning. We appreciate your being here and getting the message out to all of our citizens. I'm very happy to have all of my compadres up here with me. We've been working together on this, and you'll hear from them as we go along. We've been communicating with one another this entire time, so we all know that we're talking about the same thing at the same time. Of course, for all of us, the safety of our citizens is always a priority for us, which is why we want them to heed the warnings of the National Weather Service that we're getting and sending along to them, and be proactive in their preparations ahead of the possibility of the severe flooding that is forecast with this storm. I know there have been changes in the number of inches of rain, but we still have to look at the worst case scenario, and that's what we're doing. We're asking all residents, especially residents who live in low-lying areas and residents who are in the flood warning areas issued by the National Weather Service, that is the Tchefuncte, the Bogaflaya, and Boga Chita River basins, to prepare for heavy rain and wind event, as well as elevated water levels. Those who've experienced flooding in similar past events should consider moving to higher ground. We know what 2016 was like, so we want those people that were affected to take heed. We feel a little more comfortable about our rivers in the west. The Pearl, they're going to be a little lower, quite a bit lower than the 2016 level, we're told by the Weather Service. So we're feeling a little more comfortable about that, but we're watching that constantly also. We're also under a storm surge warning for the coastal areas, which is certainly in the eastern part of the parish, and I'm sure Mayor Chroma is going to speak to that. Some of these areas experienced flooding during the March 2016 flood, and from what we're being told by the National Weather Service, some of these areas could be at risk again with the event. Our engineers are modeling the numbers as we get them, and it will be quite a fast flood that might come down those rivers. Within 12 hours, the range is going to go quite a few feet. So we ask that that all the residents be ready and complete their preparations with their homes for the floodwaters while we have this time this morning. The weather's not so severe. Some residents may want to seriously consider making plans to move their families to higher ground, particularly those that were flooded, over 700 structures that were flooded in 2016, if they're concerned about sheltering in place when the conditions continue to deteriorate. These shelters are now open. We have 3 open. We're working in partnership with the Red Cross and the St. Tammany Sheriff's Office. The shelters are at Covington High School, 73030 Lyons Drive in Covington, Lee Road Junior High, 79131 Highway 40, which is Lee Road in Covington, and 39110 Rebel Lane, Pearl River. The school there also is one of the shelters. But we remind residents to bring essentials: bedding, personal hygiene products, snacks, any medicines particularly, also anything you need for comfort. We will have food there, but the other things you need to bring yourself. Firearms and alcohol obviously are prohibited. And one thing we always ask our residents: check on your elderly or infirm family members or neighbors. Make sure they have what they need, or if they need to move, help them too. Sometimes they're not sure, and it just takes a little effort on our parts to help them make a decision. If you haven't already, sign up for Alert St. Tammany on our website to receive up-to-the-minute information. We're asking residents to heed warnings from emergency officials. We don't make these decisions lightly. If we urge you to evacuate, there's good reason and good sound data behind that decision. We know it's a disruption of your life, so we put a lot of thought into it, but when we do say it, we hope you'll heed those warnings. If you feel you must get out, do so early today before the storms come in. Later this afternoon, we're going to see the conditions deteriorate. While the weather may be interesting to see, we ask that residents refrain from sightseeing. This is not a sightseeing event. We also ask that residents not drive their cars through flooded areas. Remember, 2 feet of rushing water can carry away most vehicles, including some pickup trucks. And when you're driving in that water, it may look like it's a few inches deep, but you never know until you get into it. We'll update road closures through the Waze, W-A-Z-E app, or through a link on our website to Waze also. The Tammany Trace Kids Connection Playground, Camp Salmon Nature Park are closed until Monday morning unless weather dictates otherwise. We may extend that. Our Public Works employees have distributed over 100,000 sandbags since Wednesday. We're not giving out filled sandbags at this time. On the locations, we did put sand out for people to fill their own bags, but we had to bring our personnel in for other duties. Our Public Works and Tammany Utilities field personnel are operating on a 24-hour basis to implement their plan and monitor conditions on the street, and will continue to do so as long as the weather conditions allow. We have a strong contingent of employees that have now assumed emergency operations duties, as well as our partner agencies that you will hear from also. We are fully activated here at the EOC, and we will remain activated until this event is over. We can watch continuous updates on our Access. You can watch continuous updates on our Access television station and stay up to date with information we provide on our many social media channels. We're asking you to remain weather aware during this storm and stay safe. Any information that I'm not giving you right now, I will be here for questions, or you can always call and get information. If it's an emergency, call 911. But for non-emergency information, just call our number here, which I don't have it written down and I can't remember it. Sorry, I'll get it to you before this is over. Too many numbers going around in my head. So with that, I will ask if there are any questions generally, and then if the other members up here with me would like to come up and say a few words.
Talk a little bit about river levels. That's been the main concern. We're getting calls from folks like in Madisonville, sitting there at the bottom.
Sure.
Well, what's the situation with rivers, and specifically should folks in Madisonville be concerned?
Thank you, Heath. That is our major concern right now, frankly. The lake is at a high level, even though it's gone down a little bit. The tidal surge has gone down a few feet, but it will be back up at 6 o'clock tonight. When that lake is that high, our rivers can't flow, cannot drain. We obviously are drainage our flood control is drainage districts into the lake. And when that lake is not open to us, it just backs up. So we will have similar, some say a little worse than the March 2016 floods. Tchefuncte is certainly one of them. And we are in contact with Mayor Pelot, and he is doing everything he can do there. River Road, that River Road always floods out to the river. But they're monitoring everything else, and they will send us information, and we have people out there, and we will advise. But if you live right there on the water, and you've seen this before, if you're uncomfortable, now's the time for them to leave.
The 3 shelters that you mentioned, is anyone staying at their shelters yet at this point?
Are they what?
Is anyone staying at the shelters?
No, we don't have anyone in the shelters yet. We haven't really experienced the worst yet. But Red Cross is there, we have law enforcement there, so we're ready to receive them if necessary.
Is that river threat going to be mostly reliant on how much rainfall we receive?
That's only part of it. Not only the rain that we receive right here or over those rivers, but whatever is up north of us. It may be a little delay for that to come down. So after we get our rain right here, it still might not be at the top that we foresee. But when the National Weather Service put their information together to model it, they took the amount of rain the tidal surge that won't let the water drain. All of that went into their modeling, and we came up with the numbers.
You don't have any numbers, specific numbers on where these rivers stand now, where the local Pelaya is, do we have any specific numbers?
Yes, we do, and each one is different. Heath, we have those, and we can get those to you. It will be a lot easier than my just telling you about them. You can see the numbers and see the timing of it also. Ronnie, maybe we can just get those out to everybody. It'll be a lot easier. Okay, if there are no more questions, I'll ask Mayor Cromer if you'd like to say a few words, and then others.
Thank you, Ms. Pat. We had a relatively calm night in the city of Slidell last night. Everybody was in place, but we're rested. We had cots and we had food available for our men that were on duty and didn't have to go into action. The lake level, the bayou levels are up probably a foot above where they were at midnight last night. And high tide in Slidell area is about 6 o'clock this evening, so do not let your guard down at this point. We have a lot more water coming towards us. The winds have shifted. On the lakefront, we were out there about 6:30 this morning. Winds have shifted and they're directly out of the southeast and blowing water right up into the lake through the Mississippi Sound, and we're fairly confident that we're going to see significantly higher tides at 6 o'clock this afternoon. That compounded with the rain that we're expecting, we are not out of the weather yet. We don't expect a severe wind event in the city, but do not let your guard down on the east side of the parish in Slidell and the surrounding areas. We are expecting significant street flooding and hopefully are going to be able to avoid any waters in any properties at this time. We are prepared. We have the water rescue teams are in place, and we've got provisions to get to the shelter at Pearl River if we need to put people in shelters. So shelter in place, take care of yourselves. If there's anything that you need, call. We can get to you. We will get to you. We'll get you what you need. We'll get you out of harm's way as soon as possible if you're in harm's way. Right now, we're very confident that we're in a good posture for what's coming at us today, tonight, and tomorrow. This will last into tomorrow, and we're well prepared for that. Thank you.
Yes, you have a question for?
We had someone brought this point up earlier, for the past several weeks, beaches have been closed on the lake. There's been concern about what's in the lake, and suddenly the lake is not in the lake anymore, it's on top. Should people be concerned about what's coming out of the lake? It's being pushed out, pushed in, like on Lake Shore and in other areas? Should people be concerned about that?
I don't know that they should be concerned. They should be aware. I think the state health department can give out some information on that. It seems to me logically it would be a lot more diluted with all the rain that's coming that'll wash it back. So, but that's not my area. We don't have anyone here from the health department, so that might be a question, and we'll try to get some information and put it on our website. How's that? Okay. So that I believe the sheriff is on his way, but Jeff Bohm is here. Jeff, do you want to speak to?
Yes. Thank y'all for coming. The St. Tony Parish Sheriff's Office, we've activated all of our assets throughout the whole parish. We're ready to respond to anything that they need. Don't hesitate. We're all the same way. If you dial 911, we're all going to come and give you all of y'all's assistance. Thank y'all.
Thanks, Jeff. And also the police chief from Slidell. So if you want to.
Thank y'all. We just want you to know we've embedded with the fire department, sheriff's office. We have plenty of assets available in Slidell. All we're asking is use common sense. It's a weekend, stay home, enjoy each other's company at the house, and I hope all we see on the highway this weekend is our units, the sheriff's office, and the fire department. So just use your common sense. Please don't drive around, get in the water. Our guys are out there and they will take enforcement action, okay? Y'all stay safe, and thank you.
Thank you, Chief. We are happy to have Mary Dubuisson, our legislator from the East, with us today. So, Mary, you have a comment or two?
Thank you so much. I really don't have a lot to add to what has already been said. Drove around a little bit on the way here this morning. There was some water over the road in off of Carr Drive that I'm aware of. It looks very high in the canal off of Highway 11 near Eden Isles. But other than that, everything looked pretty good. In fact, my husband said that it used to be that the interstate was this empty when you would drive on it, which is not the case anymore. But please just stay safe, and we're here for you. And I'm just honored to be among this group that of leaders for you that are here and that are working so hard. The staff is incredible, and we thank them for all that they do. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary. So probably one of the happiest men here today is Trey Foltz, because this is school's out. He doesn't have to make that decision, go or not go. But I do want to thank Trey and ask him to come up because they're so cooperative. When we need the schools for our shelters, they're right there with us and making sure we have everything we need. So Trey, thanks. And if you have any comments?
Schools will remain closed until August. No, I just wanted to come and support everyone. Our schools are open, we're available. And then I encourage any of our families that have any flooding to reach out to the parish as well as to the school. You know, we have a history in our school system of supporting our own students and their families as well as surrounding parishes. And we want to do that as well. So reach out to us, let us know, and we're here to help. And our school system will do anything we can to help any of us. And it is a partnership, and I'm proud to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thanks, Trey. So I saved Dexter for last. Dexter Ricardo is our Emergency Operation Director. In my opinion, he's the best there is. I saved him for last because he loves to tell you everything he knows, and you might have to cut him off. So yeah, I'm going to let Dexter take over and give you all of his pointers. Thanks, Dexter.
Thank you, Ms. Pat. And that says a lot, not about me, but it says a lot about the team that's up here and the people that can't be up here. We've done a lot of hard planning together as a team for this event. Now we're going to ask for the public to come forth and listen to what we have to say. We have taken this very serious based upon the information given to us by the National Weather Service, and it could be somewhat close to catastrophic for the parish. We just don't know where it's going to happen. Or if it even does happen, this thing could move to the west and we could be out of the woods. But somebody's going to get a lot of rain. If you look right now, those feeder bands are pounding Gulfport all the way over to Mobile in the ground, and at some point it's going to come in and affect Louisiana. So please, we have all the sources here through the media. Pick your favorite channel, dial into them, and stay informed, and we'll get through this pretty good. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Dexter, and thanks again to all of my fellow elected officials and leaders. Again, we will stay together throughout this event and do what we need to do for our parish. Any other questions for anyone before we wrap this up?
What are your hours for this shelters?
A shelter 24/7. Mm-hmm. Yep. Once they're there through the duration of this event. Mm-hmm. And they're open now. All right. Well, thank you again for coming, and appreciate your time that you give us to get our message out. Thank you.